What's going on, everyone? We got our Dunkin', we got our workout in, and now it's time to shoot a video. I want to make a video about how to just make your life better. I feel like a lot of us are in a scenario where maybe we aren't in a screw position, but we are in a position where we're not fully happy with where we're at. And I've definitely been in this spot before, and I find myself in it over and over again. But then I always remind myself of these tactics that I use that I'm about to show you. And when I implement these again, because I always fall off the wagon, when I hop back on, my life gets so much better. So I want to talk about them. So if you're in a spot where you don't know what you're doing with your life, you want more, you want to feel happier, you are anxious, you're depressed, whatnot, this is a video for you. So we're going to get right into it. Chapter 1, get off of social media. Hear me out before you click on the video, because I know you're going to think, oh, it's just a dopamine detox guy, and I'm not going to go cold turkey off of social media. That's stupid. Just hear me out. I'm not saying go cold turkey off of social media, but I am saying limit your use and start what I heard the other day, slow maxing. So we all know that social media is not the best for your brain, right? There are multiple studies. You can go look them up yourself. I'm too lazy to link them, but they are out there. There's about 4 or 5 that show a direct correlation between screen time usage and feelings of unhappiness, loneliness, depression, anxiety. Yet people wonder, why am I so anxious? Why am I unhappy? Why am I lonely? All this. And the first point I put here is something that I always go through, but I will go through phases of my life where I get off of social media for a month. I've even gone as long as 3 months without social media. And you won't realize how much life is better, if that's even the way to say it, until you relapse, right? At first it sucks. Then you start to get used to it. Then you get to a point where you're like, screw it, I'm going to go back on Instagram, whatever. And that first day back on Instagram is great. But then within a week of using social media again, you find yourself back into this pit of anxiety and unhappiness and all that. Social media is just too overstimulating for our brains, and we simply can't handle it. It ruins your focus, and it fuels anxiety and depression, right? You are taking in so much information every single day on a daily basis. I heard this from a psychologist on YouTube. I forgot who it was. But every time you swipe on your phone, on TikTok, Instagram Reels, whatever it may be, the way your brain handles it is like it's walking into a new room with all new people. If you walked into over 200 rooms with all new people and had to talk to them for 30 seconds to a minute and then go into the next room, your brain would be so overstimulated and so anxiety wrecked, you wouldn't know what to do with yourself. And it's the same exact thing with social media. People often feel depressed because they're on social media so much. I can't go on Instagram or TikTok without seeing at least 5 17-year-olds that have claimed to make 100K this month with Brittany Grinder's boob coins or something. It's some stupid. And to be honest with you, 90% of those are just lying. And 10% were really just lucky. And it's really not reality. You're seeing the 1 in a million kids 20 times a day, and it makes you feel like you're behind, and it makes you feel like you are doing nothing when everyone else is doing something. This constant input leaves no space for your brain to form its own thoughts, its own opinions, its own personality. And I think we can all agree that we have seen people's personalities take a hit over the years where people are just, they almost feel cookie cutter. They feel bland, boring, and it's because no one's different. When you leave no space for your brain to form its own thoughts and perspectives and personalities, then it has to steal from everyone else's that you see on Instagram and TikTok. That's why we all use the same slang and slogans, especially younger people. We're all saying fi and lit and stupid stuff like that. When you get off your phone, life slows down and it feels more manageable in a very, very good way, which in result makes your anxiety dissipate. You feel good again. You don't feel depressed because you don't feel like you're behind. You see the real world, and you see that you are on your own path and you're doing good. But like I said, you won't see how toxic it is until you step away for a month to up to 3 months. But I know that's not all of you. I know all of you don't want to step away from social media for that long. You are just addicted to it. It's fine. But I'm going to talk about that. Last point I want to make is people don't realize how much, or people don't realize how important it is to control what you consume, because you are what you consume. We've all heard that saying before, but it's true. And it's beyond physical, it's beyond food. When you consume stupid content all day and fill your mind with just brain rot content and shitty people, you're going to be a shitty person. And you're going to be a person that is satisfied from cheap dopamine, which means you will never accomplish anything you want in your life, because anything worth accomplishing is hard. But this can also work in the vice versa. So this is where I want to get to you that don't want to quit social media. What I always recommend to people is, if you don't want to delete social media, that's fine. Instead, just make a burner account. Make an account that has no profile picture, not even your name, so no one knows it's you. And all you got to do is follow 10 people. And I will say, you got to delete TikTok. The For You page is made to keep you hooked. And there's no good way to handle TikTok. But with Instagram, you can follow 10 people. And these 10 people need to be people that you aspire to be like. They need to be hustlers. They need to be the physique you want, the level of wealth you want, the mindset you want, and so on. So now when you go on Instagram, let's say you're at the doctor's office. No one's going to work on something at the doctor's office. You're not going to read a book, whatever. You're just sitting there. You want a little bit of cheap dopamine. That's fine. You're going to go on Instagram. You avoid the Explore page. You avoid Instagram Reels. And all you watch is the content from the 10 creators that you followed. Doing this builds the person you want to become by consumption of good content. I always give the example of reading self-improvement books. If you read one self-improvement book in a year, nothing's going to change, really. Not your mindset's not going to change. It may, change how you operate for a week or two, but in the long run, nothing's really going to change. But if you set out to read 50 books, 50 self-improvement books in 1 year, at the end of that year, your mindset about working out, working hard, mindset, whatever, is going to be completely different because you programmed your mind with good content. And it's the same thing with social media. If you only consume content from people you want to be like, you're going to raise the standard for yourself through programming. I hope that made sense. Let's move on. I know these seem so simple, but it's really the simple things that make the big differences. Let me give you an analogy. If you trapped a dog in a small, dark, stuffy box, never let him out, I don't care if you feed him the best food, steaks, whatever. Is that dog going to be happy? No. He's not. He's going to be depressed. He might even be an anxious dog because he's not exposed to anything. He was made to be outside in the sun. He was made to be running around playing. And we are no different. I'm not saying you need to go run around and chase a ball all day, but you need to be getting outside, giving yourself vitamin D, as well as your nervous system resets when you take these longer periods of time outside. And I'm talking about going on a walk with no phone, no music, no distractions. If you have a problem in your life, a big one, and it's just eating at you all day, if you go on a 30-minute walk outside, no phone, no music, no nothing, I promise you, when you get back from that walk, it's not going to solve all your problems, but it is going to give you this sense of feeling that life is more manageable. These problems, I can handle them. I don't know how I'm going to handle them, but I can handle them. It completely changes your perspective on your life, how fast it's moving, how big your problems are. It makes you realize how actually small they are. And there's just something special about going outside. And I'm just saying, go on a 30-minute walk every day and watch how your mood and how your life changes. That's all I'll say about that. Chapter 3, eat real food. I know this is basic stuff, but just hear me out. This goes back to you are what you consume. This is more on the physical side, obviously. Now, when I say eat real food, people think, oh, I gotta eat healthy. Let me go eat chicken, broccoli, rice every meal. Or let me go eat salads every meal. No. Why would you do that? I eat steaks, burgers, quesadilla, fruit. All these things, every meal I look forward to. Because they all taste good. I don't eat bland stuff. I just find the things that I like now and find either A, healthy alternatives to it, or B, I just find things that are healthy that I also like. The biggest thing with eating healthy, and where a lot of people I think get it wrong, is they try to meal prep these great and extravagant meals, and it takes them hours upon hours to make all their meals. I meal prep all my meals on Sunday. It takes me 2 hours. for all my meals on Sunday. Now I know some of you don't want to meal prep, that's fine. But other people will go and cook, and they'll cook a meal for 2 hours. It's like, yeah, when you get home from work and you're tired, exhausted, you're not going to want to cook a meal for 2 hours. So the biggest thing when it comes to long-term sustainability is, yes, make them taste good, obviously, but make them really easy and quick to make. A steak takes 10 minutes to make on the grill. Burgers take 10 minutes to make. Quesadillas, 10 minutes to make. Fruit, no time to make. A yogurt bowl, 5 minutes to make. Oatmeal, 3 minutes to make. Like, all these things are super, super simple and super quick. That's the biggest thing I can tell you about keeping this diet for long term, is just finding what's easy to make. Completely drop the concept that you need to be eating vegetables. You don't have to. If you like fruit more, which 99% of people do, then eat fruit instead. Find what you like. I don't care what it is, as long as you're hitting your macronutrients and your calories, that's all that matters for right now. Chapter 4, I'm assuming you're not working out right now. If you are, keep going, great. But if you're not, start weight training 3 times a week. Now some of you may be saying, Parker, I don't weight train at all. How the hell am I supposed to go into the gym now 3 times a week and be consistent? This is my next tip. Start by just showing up. And what I mean by that is, let's say you work out after work. You're tired, you don't feel like going to the gym. Just commit. Promise to yourself that you're going to go to the gym and you're going to walk on the treadmill for 10 minutes. That's it. If you walk on the treadmill for 10 minutes and you feel like shit still, go home. Doesn't matter. It's fine. Now, if you go to the gym, you walk on the treadmill for 10 minutes, you think, I feel pretty good now. The music's hitting. My pre-workout, if you're taking pre-workout, tastes good. I'm feeling good. If that's the case, then just commit to doing 4 sets of your favorite muscle group from that day. So let's say I'm hitting my upper body. My personal favorite muscle group to hit is my chest. So I'll be like, okay, treadmill felt good. I'm going to go hit 2 sets of this incline press and 2 sets of like a chest fly. And just commit to that. If I hit that, I feel terrible now, go home. That's it. But if you hit that and you think, okay, I'm kind of getting in the zone now, I feel pretty good, then move on to your second favorite muscle group. So for me, it's my shoulders. I'll go hit 4 sets of shoulders. If that didn't feel good, but I hit all 4, I'm going to go home. But if I hit those 4, I'm still in the zone, I'm feeling good, then commit to the next, your third favorite from the day, and so on and so on and so on. The reason I say this is because when you first start working out, people think, oh, I need to, grind. I need to go in the gym 6 times a week, and I need to hit an hour-long workout and go intense and go hard and blah, blah. But then when it comes time to actually doing it, it's incredibly hard, especially after work. You're tired. You already don't want to do it. You're already behind, essentially. So when you first start working out, you need to build the habit of just going to the gym. You don't need to worry about working out. Just get in the habit of, okay, I'm going to go. Because now, I work out after work. I go whether I feel like shit, whether I'm tired. It doesn't matter how I feel, I go. Because I built up that discipline over years and years and years of just going to the gym. So now, when I go to the gym, it's not even in question if I'm going to work out. But for you to build that discipline, you need to worry about, okay, now, instead of committing to a whole workout like Parker does, I'm just going to commit to just going to the gym and walking on the treadmill for 10 minutes. Then that habit, that discipline will build to where that doesn't even become in question. Then you're going to get to the point where now it's like, well, now I'm going to hit 4 sets of my favorite muscle group. That's the minimum I'm going to do, plus the treadmill. And then over, you do that for 2 months straight. Well, then it's going to get to the point where, okay, now without even questioning how I feel, I'm going to hit at least half my workout every single time without question. Then it's just going to build and build and build to the point where you are going to the gym 3 or 4 times a week and you don't care how you feel. You are going because you built the discipline over time. People always say, and it's so true, discipline isn't built overnight. But for some reason, people expect themselves to watch a David Goggins video at 2 a.m. and think, okay, I'm just going to start doing this now. That's not how it works. You have to build it over time. Next, chapter 5. You need to be building something outside of your job. The reason I say this is because too many people rely on one paycheck for their entire life. And to all you that are doing this, I think we can all agree that sometimes it just doesn't feel like enough. Now, I'm not saying go start this side hustle just to make money and give yourself some more spending power. That's great and all. But what I want you to do is start a side hustle, begin to work on it, that you would be proud of in 5 years. So for me, this is kind of my side hustle, right? This coaching, this online thing. If I were to do this for 5 years straight, never give up, would I be proud of the thing I built? Well, would I be proud of helping people change their body composition, helping people change their mindset in their life? Absolutely. Most of you, and I've been guilty of this too in my, before all this, is I would think, okay, I want to start a side hustle. I'm going to become rich in 6 months doing advertising for other businesses. I'm not passionate about advertising. I hate advertising, honestly. It's really boring. And I expect to be rich in 6 months. That's just not how it works. You need something that you are passionate about so you stick to it for a long time and that you be proud of. Like if I built a successful advertising agency, I'd be like, I'm not really doing any good for people. Yeah, I'm adding some more value to businesses, but it's not fulfilling to me. I want to be super, super proud of it. Or if I build a successful coaching business, I would be extremely proud of that because I'm directly changing people's lives. Next thing I want to say about this is you don't need to quit your job. Too many people online are like, quit your job, go chase your passions, blah, blah, blah. I think that's so stupid. So dumb. I do this while working 50 hours a week, and I don't plan on quitting anytime soon. Your goal with this side hustle is to just build options. Your goal shouldn't be be rich in 6 months. It's to A, build something you're proud of in 5 years, and B, just build options. When people have options to their financial situation, it gives them freedom. And freedom is the ultimate happiness in life, in my opinion. People feel the most powerful when they have options. And living paycheck to paycheck is extremely hard, and it's really hard to be at your happiest when you're worried about your financial situation. So my biggest tip with this is the same thing with the gym. Start slow. Start just committing to 20 minutes 3 times a week, building something that you really enjoy working on. That can produce an income later down the road. And then just build from there. You do that for 2 weeks straight. Okay, well this week I'm going to commit to 20 minutes 4 times a week. And just keep building. Now 20 minutes 5 times a week. And just keep on building until you're to the point where it's like I'm working 2 hours outside my job on something I really enjoy and something I'm really proud of that can build me an income. And then 3-4 years down the road, you're going to realize, holy cow, like I'm not living paycheck to paycheck anymore because I put in the work and built this thing outside of my job. And I'm really, really proud of it. Chapter 6 is kind of my conclusion, and I want to say life is a balance, and I'm not saying, 80-20 rule, so you put in all this work, go have fun, 20% of the time. That's not what I'm saying. What I mean by life is a balance is it's like yin and yang. So when you scroll on social media, yes, you're on a high right now, right? But you have to come back to balance. You have to come back to equilibrium. So how are you going to do that? You're going to crash. You're going to pay with that high with anxiety, depression, regret of not doing things that you want to do, right? When you go drink, yeah, you're on a high, but then you're going to pay for it with anxiety and, laziness. But it's the same thing vice versa. So if you suffer now, you put in the work in the gym, you put in the work on a side business, hustle, whatever, you get off of social media, you slow max, as some would say, well, you're going to pay for that later with feelings of happiness, fulfillment. You're not going to be anxious or depressed. You're going to feel good. And you're going to be proud of the body and the life that you've built. So it's all about a trade. Always think about, well, what's going to be my trade-off later? Am I going to feel like shit later because I did this? Or is my payoff going to come later because I put in the work right now? That's my 2 cents on how to make your life better. Some of you may disagree with it, think it's too much. But some of the happiest people I know follow these rules, and I feel like I'm in a good spot in life because I follow these rules to a T. I hope that helped at least one of you out there. And I just want to say thank you guys to 100 subscribers. I know that's not a lot, but to me, that's a big milestone. And I'll see y'all in the next one.